The moment you speak English, the world stops being a dream, it becomes reachable. If you speak English, you win the world. That may sound like a bold sentence, but it carries a deep truth about opportunity, confidence, communication, and the power of knowledge. English is not just a language, it is a key, and when you hold that key, many locked doors become open. Imagine a young person sitting in a small town, dreaming big dreams. They want to travel, they want to learn, they want to create, they want to be heard. But the world seems too far away, the opportunities seem too big, the dreams seem too impossible. Then one day that person begins learning English. At first the words are strange, the pronunciation is difficult, the grammar feels confusing. But slowly something changes, slowly the barrier becomes a bridge, slowly the world gets closer. The moment someone understands their first English sentence from a movie without subtitles, something inside them lights up. It is the feeling of progress, it is the feeling of ability, and that feeling, once born, grows, because progress feeds motivation and motivation feeds growth. When you speak English, you are not showing off, you are showing that you refuse to stay small. You are showing that you didn't accept limits. You are showing that you were brave enough to learn something that billions struggle with, and that courage alone makes you powerful. Many people think English is just about grammar, but the truth is, English is about access. It gives access to information, because most of the world's knowledge is written and published in English. It gives access to opportunities, because international jobs, online work, business, travel, and technology run through English. It gives access to people, because English is the language strangers use to become friends. A person from Pakistan, a person from Japan, a person from Brazil, a person from Egypt, they may not share the same culture, but they can share English, and through that sharing, they share ideas, dreams, solutions, and friendships. That is what it means to win the world, not to control it, but to connect with it. When someone speaks English, their confidence changes. They stand differently, they walk differently, they introduce themselves differently, because the fear of misunderstanding becomes smaller and the excitement of communication becomes stronger. The world respects confidence, and confidence grows when we learn something powerful. There are students who were once shy, who sat in the back of the classroom, who avoided eye contact, who never raised their hand. But when they began learning English, they began discovering themselves. They began speaking more, expressing more, dreaming more. Language builds personality. Language strengthens the mind, and English, being a global language, strengthens the connection between you and the world. Think of the internet. The internet is like a giant city made of information, videos, courses, ideas, and opportunities, and the language of that city is English. If you speak English, that city belongs to you. You do not need someone to translate for you. You do not need to wait for subtitles. You do not need to feel left out. You can learn directly from the best teachers, the best mentors, the best universities, the best leaders, without leaving your home. You can watch a lecture from MIT, a tutorial from YouTube, a course from Google, a speech from Stanford, and you can understand it. That is winning, that is power. And that power does not require money, it only requires willingness to learn. Many people say, my English is poor, or I am afraid to speak, or what if people laugh at me? But the truth is, nobody starts perfectly, nobody. Every fluent English speaker today was once a beginner. Every confident speaker today once made mistakes. Every smooth speaker once struggled. If you are making mistakes, it means you are learning. If you are speaking slowly, it means you are practicing. And if someone laughs at you, it means they are not your audience. The world is full of people who respect effort more than perfection. The world is full of people who know that learning a second language is a sign of intelligence, not a reason for shame. When a person tells themselves, I am not good at English, they are not describing reality, they are creating limitations, and limitations built by words are destroyed by actions, the action of trying, the action of practicing, the action of improving. The difference between someone who speaks English and someone who doesn't is not talent, it is consistency. English is not hard, giving up is hard. English is not impossible, thinking negatively is impossible. English is not a barrier, fear is the barrier. Once fear is removed, achievement becomes easier. There are millions of people who know English but never speak it. Why? Because they are embarrassed. They are afraid of judgment. They are afraid of grammar mistakes. They are afraid of accents. But accents are not mistakes. Accents are history. Accents are identity. Accents are proof that you learned a new language without abandoning your own. An accent does not make you weak. It makes you interesting. Native speakers do not laugh at accents. They respect them because they know how difficult it is to learn another language. So if you speak English with an accent, you are not less, you are more. Now imagine a scenario. You are sitting in an interview and the interviewer asks you a question in English. If you can respond clearly, confidently, respectfully, your chances increase. Why? Because communication is a skill that companies value more than degrees. Companies can train you for the job, but they cannot easily train you to communicate. If you can speak English, you can manage, lead, negotiate, explain, guide, and connect. And that makes you valuable. Value creates demand, and demand creates success. Another scenario, you are traveling abroad. You arrive at an airport in a country where nobody speaks your language. What do? You speak English. And suddenly, you are not lost anymore. You can ask for directions, order food, book a hotel, read signs, and understand instructions. You are not helpless. You are in control. That is winning. That is independence. That is freedom. Or imagine you want to start an online business. You want to sell something, teach something, create something, design something, or offer a service. Your customers may not be from your country. They may be from another continent. How will you talk to them? How will you advertise? How will you explain? The answer is English. The international marketplace does not operate in hundreds of languages. It operates mainly in English. If you speak English, you can sell to the world, not just your neighborhood. You can earn in dollars, not just in local currency. You can scale your income beyond borders. That is how English turns into money, not because English itself pays you, but because English connects you to opportunities that pay you. Students who learn English do not just get better jobs, they get better minds. They read more, they watch more, they learn more, they understand more. Knowledge is like oxygen for the brain, and English expands knowledge. When you expand your knowledge, you expand your vision. When you expand your vision, you expand your dreams. When you expand your dreams, you expand your life. English brings people together. It removes misunderstandings. It builds bridges between cultures. It teaches patience, creativity, curiosity, listening skills, and problem solving. And the beauty is, you do not have to move to another country to learn it. You do not need expensive tutors to learn it. You can learn it from your phone, from your laptop, from free videos, from free courses, from movies, from conversations. You can learn it anywhere if you want to. When you make English part of your daily routine, even in small amounts, the results become noticeable. 5 minutes of listening today, 10 minutes of speaking tomorrow, 15 minutes of reading the next day. These small steps create big change over time. People often underestimate the power of small habits, but success is built from small habits repeated with consistency. The problem is not lack of intelligence, the problem is lack of patience. Many learners quit because they expect perfection too fast. They want to speak fluently like native speakers in 1 month, but language is not a race. It is a journey, and a journey requires time. When you give English time, English gives you rewards. English can transform shy students into confident speakers. It can transform unemployed youth into global professionals. It can transform limited lives into limitless possibilities. English is not magic, but it creates magical effects for those who commit to learning it. Imagine someone who was always scared to talk in front of others. They kept silent in groups, avoided strangers, and felt nervous with every conversation. But after learning English, slowly they begin to speak, to present, to express. Their voice returns, their personality grows. Their confidence becomes visible. They begin to believe in themselves, and self-belief is the foundation of success. If you speak English, you win the world because the world listens to those who can communicate. History has always respected communicators, leaders, speakers, educators, writers, negotiators, influencers, and visionaries. All of them had one thing in common: they knew how to communicate. In today's global world, communication does not need to be in your native language. Communication needs to be in English. If you can express your thoughts clearly, logically, and respectfully in English, the world will hear you. The world will understand you. The world will respond to you. There are millions of people who dream of studying abroad. They want to go to universities in America, Canada, Australia, the UK, Europe, China, Japan, or anywhere. But to apply, they need English. IELTS, TOEFL, PT, all are tests of English ability. If someone prepares well, doors open. If someone ignores English, those doors remain shut. The difference between going and staying is sometimes just English. Someone might have the talent, the intelligence, the skill, but if they cannot express that intelligence in English, many universities will not understand their value. But when they learn English and communicate, the same universities welcome them, respect them, appreciate them. That is how speaking English can literally change the course of a life. Businesses also run on English. Emails, meetings, presentations, reports, proposals, negotiations, these are the tools of business, and their language is English. When a business person speaks English, they can connect with clients abroad, suppliers abroad, manufacturers abroad, investors abroad. They can grow beyond borders. They can build international relations. They can expand their markets. Even small businesses today use English on social media to reach customers in different countries. A small shop selling handmade jewelry, a home bakery selling cakes, a freelancer designing logos, a coder writing software, a teacher offering online classes, all of them use English to reach global customers. English is not only for the educated elite. English is for everyone who wants to connect beyond their immediate environment. Technology also favors English. Most programming languages are in English. Most documentation is in English. Most tutorials, forums, and guides are in English. If you want to learn coding, AI, cybersecurity, graphics design, video editing, digital marketing, or any modern skill, English becomes a tool that accelerates learning. Without English, you can still learn, but slowly. With English, you learn faster and more easily because the resources become accessible. And when learning becomes easier, progress becomes faster. This is why so many successful people advise others to learn English, not because English is superior, but because English creates efficiency. But let us talk about the mental transformation that comes from learning English. When someone speaks another language, their brain becomes sharper. They develop problem-solving abilities because they constantly think, translate, interpret, and choose words. Bilingual brains are often more creative because they think in different structures. Language shapes thought. When you learn English, you are not just learning words, you are learning new ways to think. English exposes you to new ideas, new cultures, new philosophies, new knowledge. It expands your imagination and builds mental flexibility. Sometimes people say, why should I learn English? Why not be proud of my own language? And the answer is simple. You should be proud of your own language. You should respect your culture. You should value your identity. English does not replace your language. English supports your growth. You can love your mother tongue and still learn English for opportunities. One thing does not destroy the other. English is not competition. English is collaboration. A person who knows 2 languages is stronger than a person who knows 1. That is reality. Look at the world's top companies: Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Apple, Tesla, Samsung, Huawei. They all communicate in English internationally. Their CEO address the global market in English. Their developers collaborate in English. Their products communicate in English. If you want to be part of that world, you need English. If you want to work online, you need English. If you want to freelance, you need English. If you want to create content for a global audience, you need English. The world will not adjust to you. You must adjust to the world, and adjusting does not mean losing yourself. It means becoming adaptable, and adaptability is the most powerful survival skill in the modern age. When you speak English, you gain confidence not just in language, but in life. Confidence spreads. It spreads into your decisions, your relationships, your career, your dreams. It changes how you view challenges. It changes how you handle problems. It changes how you see yourself. When your self-image improves, your future improves. And English gives many people their first taste of achievement. That achievement becomes fuel for bigger achievements. I have seen people who started learning English with zero vocabulary, zero grammar, zero confidence. They struggled to say even basic sentences, but they didn't quit. They kept trying. They watched videos. They listened to speakers. They repeated sentences. They spoke to themselves in the mirror. Slowly, step by step, they improved. And one day they could speak, not perfectly, not like native speakers, but clearly, confidently, and that was enough to change everything. Some of them became teachers, some became content creators. Some went abroad for study, some got international clients online, some started successful YouTube channels, some got jobs in multinational companies, some built careers in tourism, aviation, hospitality, technology, or media. All because they learned English. None of them were born fluent. None of them had magic. They simply refused to give up. The world does not reward talent alone. The world rewards those who develop skills. And English is a skill, not a luxury, not a decoration, a skill. Skills create opportunities. Skills create independence. Skills create power. And English is one of the most practical global skills available to humanity today. If you speak English, you win the world because the world is built on communication, collaboration, and connection. Think about social media: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. What language dominates these platforms? English. This does not mean other languages are unimportant. It means English helps content travel faster across borders. A video in English can be watched in India, Pakistan, the United States, Africa, the Middle East, Europe, everywhere. A comment in English can be understood by millions. A post in English can go viral globally. This is why influencers, public speakers, and even motivational coaches use English when they want to reach the world. English multiplies your audience, multiplies your influence, multiplies your voice. If you want the world to hear you, English is the microphone. But let's talk about something deeper. Learning English builds character. When you learn English, you learn patience because you must repeat words again and again. You learn courage because you must speak even when you are afraid of making mistakes. You learn discipline because you must practice regularly. You learn humility because you realize how much you do not know. You learn confidence because you see yourself improving. These qualities go beyond language. They shape your future. Many people fail in life not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack these qualities. English teaches these qualities without you even realizing it. Some learners ask, when will I become fluent? The real question is, when will I stop being afraid? Because fear blocks fluency more than lack of vocabulary. The day you stop being afraid to make mistakes is the day your fluency begins. Children learn languages quickly because they do not fear judgment. Adults learn slowly because they are constantly worried about being wrong. The secret is simple. Speak, make mistakes, correct yourself, repeat. That is fluency. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is flow, and flow comes from practice, not fear. There are millions who say, I understand English, but I cannot speak. This is common because understanding and speaking are two different muscles. To speak English, you must train speaking, not just listening. You must form sentences, not just recognize them. You must express thoughts, not just absorb them. Talking to yourself is one of the best exercises. It may feel strange, but it works. Describe what you are doing. Share your thoughts. Practice daily conversation with yourself. Over time, the brain becomes comfortable forming sentences quickly. That comfort becomes fluency. If you speak English, you win the world because English reduces misunderstandings. Misunderstandings create conflict, and conflict destroys progress. When people understand each other, they respect each other. English allows people from different cultures, religions, and countries to agree, negotiate, and collaborate. This is why international organizations, conferences, research groups, and industries operate in English. Collaboration is the engine of modern growth, and English is the fuel. Let us think about the immigrant story. Millions of people travel to other countries searching for a better life. They leave their homes, families, and comfort zones to work hard. In a foreign land, English becomes their survival tool. With English, they get better jobs. With English, they communicate with employers. With English, they understand the laws, the systems, the culture. Without English, they remain restricted to low-income environments. One language can change the entire economic condition of a family. One language can lift generations out of struggle. That is power. Real power. Even in entertainment, English opens doors. Hollywood movies, popular songs, documentaries, interviews, podcasts, the global entertainment industry runs on English. When you understand English, you enjoy content without waiting for translation. You understand jokes, emotions, expressions, cultural references. You learn from characters, speeches, and dialogues. Movies and music become teachers. They help improve vocabulary, pronunciation, and comprehension. Many fluent English speakers did not learn from teachers, they learned from movies and music, because English surrounds the world like air. The reason English is powerful is not because it is better than other languages. The reason English is powerful is because the world decided to use it as a common ground. Like currency, language becomes powerful when it is shared. If the whole world used the same currency, that currency would be powerful. If the whole world uses one language for communication, that language becomes powerful. English simply became that shared language, and those who learn it gain access to the shared world. Let's speak about psychology. When someone speaks English in a place where others do not, they stand out. They are respected, admired, and often treated as more educated or intelligent. This perception, whether fair or not, exists worldwide. And perception influences opportunity. If two people apply for the same job, same experience, same degree, same background, but one speaks English and the other does not, the one who speaks English will be chosen most of the time. Not because they are smarter, but because they can represent the company beyond local limits. They can communicate with more clients, read more information, and handle more responsibilities. If you speak English, you win the world because knowledge itself becomes accessible. The most advanced scientific papers, technological research, medical guidelines, engineering manuals, business strategies, and academic journals are published in English. When a student knows English, they do not wait for translated versions. They read the latest research directly, they learn the newest methods directly, they stay updated. In a world that changes every year, staying updated is survival. Think of doctors. A doctor who knows English can read international medical journals and apply modern treatments earlier. Think of engineers. An engineer who knows English can read global standards and build better systems. Think of programmers. A programmer who knows English can understand documentation faster and solve problems quicker. Think of entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur who knows English can study international business models and apply them locally. Every field becomes easier with English, not because English is magical, but because information is available in English first. Now let's address another important reality. English gives dignity to the poor. You may have seen a taxi driver, a waiter, a shopkeeper, a laborer, or a security guard speaking English. Suddenly people treat them differently. Suddenly they receive respect, admiration, and sometimes better tips or opportunities. Why? Because English breaks stereotypes. Society often judges based on appearances, but English challenges those judgments. It says, do not underestimate me. It says, I have potential. It says, I deserve respect. A single language can change how society sees you, but more importantly, English changes how you see yourself. You start believing you are capable of learning difficult things. You start believing you are not limited by your background. You start believing that your dreams are valid. The world outside changes only after the world inside changes. English often triggers that internal change. When a person speaks English, they enter global culture. Global culture means innovation, curiosity, freedom of thought, diversity of ideas, and openness to growth. English gives you access to different perspectives. You begin to see the world not as one city, one school, one society, but as a planet full of possibilities. You understand that there are millions of people like you dreaming, learning, struggling, improving, and that connection gives strength. If you speak English, you win the world because the world rewards learners. Every time you learn a new English word, you gain a new tool. Every time you speak a new sentence, you gain a new victory. Learning a language is a journey full of small victories, and those victories build you into someone stronger than before. And the beauty is, English learning never stops. Even native speakers learn new words their entire life. So do not think you must know everything before you speak. Speak now, improve later. Speak imperfectly, improve gradually. Speak with fear, improve with confidence. Action cures fear. Some people say, I tried learning English, but I failed. That sentence is incomplete. The true sentence is, I tried learning English, but I stopped. The only real failure is stopping. If you restart, you continue the journey. If you continue the journey, you eventually reach fluency. No one learns in one straight line. There are ups and downs, high motivation and low motivation, fast progress and slow progress. This is normal. This is how learning works. The key is not speed. The key is consistency. Even 10 minutes a day is enough if done every day. Consistency beats intensity. English also helps you express emotions more clearly. Sometimes people struggle to explain their feelings, dreams, or ideas in their own language because they lack the right words. English gives new words for emotions, new expressions for thoughts, new ways to describe reality. For example, words like mindset, motivation, confidence, opportunity, potential, grateful, resilient do not always have direct translations in many languages. These words shape modern thinking. When you learn them, your thinking changes, your emotions change, and your world changes. If you speak English, you win the world because the world is connected by English-speaking communities. Online forums, discussion groups, international classrooms, social platforms all filled with millions of people looking for partners to practice with, share ideas with, learn from. When you join these communities, you are no longer alone in your journey. You realize that English is not a test, it is a tool, not a subject, a skill, not a burden, an opportunity. The journey of English learning also teaches self-respect. The first time you confidently say, I can speak English, something powerful happens inside you. A wall breaks, a bridge forms, you begin to respect your efforts, and self-respect leads to discipline. Discipline leads to success. This is why English learners often become successful in other areas too, because the habits they learn from English transfer into life. Imagine your future self, fluent, confident, expressive, traveling, learning, presenting, negotiating, connecting with people across the world. That version of you already exists, you just need to grow into it. Your future self is waiting for you on the other side of consistency. If you speak English, you win the world because the world opens for you, welcomes you, listens to you, understands you. Sometimes the obstacles are not outside, they are inside. The real enemy is not grammar, it is doubt, not vocabulary, it is fear, not accent, it is shame. When you defeat these internal enemies, external achievements become natural, and English becomes a battlefield where you practice courage. Every sentence you speak is a victory, every mistake you make is a lesson, every improvement you see is a reward. One day you will look back and laugh at the fear you once had. You will remember how you refused to speak, how you worried about being judged, how you stressed about mistakes. And you will realize none of it mattered. The people who laughed at you will still be where they are. The people who believed in you will celebrate you, and you will thank yourself for not quitting. If you speak English, you win the world because winning is not about conquering others. Winning is about conquering yourself. Winning is waking up with the courage to improve. Winning is facing failure and continuing anyway. Winning is learning skills that expand your future. English is one of those skills. It is not the only key to success, but it is a strong key, a global key, a life-changing key. Think of the millions who built careers simply because they knew English. Think of the students who studied abroad because they passed English exams. Think of the entrepreneurs who started online businesses because they wrote English emails to international clients. Think of the teachers who reached thousands of students by teaching English online. Think of the freelancers who never left their home country yet earned in dollars because they spoke English. These people did not win because they were lucky, they won because they learned. You can be one of them. You have the ability, you have the brain, you have the potential. Your background does not matter, your age does not matter, your income does not matter, your school does not matter. What matters is your decision. If you decide to learn English, if you decide to practice every day, if you decide not to quit, the world will eventually open for you. And remember this, English does not belong to native speakers alone. English belongs to everyone who learns it. When you speak English, you are not a guest, you are a participant. You are part of the global conversation. You are part of the modern world. Your voice deserves to be heard. If you speak English, you win the world because winning the world begins with winning your voice. Winning your voice begins with speaking. Speaking begins with trying. Trying begins with learning. Learning begins with belief. And belief begins with you. You are not late, you are not behind, you are not incapable. You are on the journey, the world is waiting, and you are getting ready. The day you speak English confidently is the day the world becomes smaller, possibilities become bigger, and life becomes richer. If you speak English, you win the world because the world opens for those who are willing to learn, willing to speak, willing to try, and willing to grow. And you are one of them.